Welcome back to the Holistic Homes Podcast. I'm Christine, your host, licensed general contractor and holistic construction consultant. I am here to help you build a healthier home. It is not talked about enough, and the most common thing that I see between the struggle of the homeowner wanting a healthier home and maybe just like the stick in the mud builder, or just like a builder who's willing somewhat, but just like, I'm happy to help you, but I just have never built a healthier home before, or it's just like foreign to them. So what I see is a homeowner who wants a healthier home, but doesn't know how to communicate it over to their builder who builds homes, but maybe has no awareness around what a healthy home is. And there's just this disconnect and things are just not being met, like expectations are not being met. So I'm going to walk you through so that you can be better and well equipped in the stages of construction and what happens when, what to ask for when. And I'm going to break it down in 6 simple steps so that you don't feel like you have to become a contractor just to get a healthier home, but so that you at least have more knowledge around the stages and sequence of construction so that you have a bit more confidence in having conversations with your contractor. So the 6 stages of construction. Step 1, we have to start with, where is the home going to be built? This is often referred to as lot selection or your pre-design stage. So step 1, whether you're renovating or doing a new build, we need to know where the home is going to be built. If it's a renovation, home's not going to move. It's going to stay right where it is. If it's a new build, you need a piece of land to build that home on. Now, I'll primarily focus on the new build scenario because that's what we consult on and that's what we're most familiar with. But in stage 1, if you are doing a custom new build, and you're selecting the lot, oftentimes during that due diligence stage or your escrow period of purchasing that lot, you need to be doing some due diligence on, is this lot the right lot to build your home on? And that often looks like doing testing of the soil. Like, is the soil going to be suitable to build a home on? Some people don't realize that you cannot just pick a piece of land and then you get to build, a slab on grade home on that land. That's not true for every piece of land. There is some soil or some terrain, like depending on what the grading is of the land, you might need to have a home built on a crawl space. You may not be able to build a slab foundation, maybe because the soil type is very expansive. So just know that there is a lot in the details of understanding the lot that you're going to build on. So that could be soils testing. If you're going to be on a septic, there's also a percolation test that's also needed. So there's a lot that goes into the land. But just know that if you are dead set on having a particular type of foundation, that often bubbles up and is discussed during the soils testing stage. So you don't want to end up with a piece of land that ultimately you're going to be limited on what you can build on it, whether that's size-wise, height-wise, foundation type. If there's limitations, you want to know about it in that lot selection stage. So that's step 1. You still want to have a team, even if you're in step 1. Because there's a lot that goes into even the orientation of like, where can your home be positioned? And so just get through that, making sure that you clearly know what you are getting with your lot. Then there's also, of course, the other factors. Like if you have a high priority of avoiding EMFs, you may want to be doing testing at that lot to determine like, what is the exposure at that lot? So step 1, pre-design lot selection stage. Step 2, that is going to be when you kick things off with your architect. So that's architect selection stage. We are big fans of helping facilitate architects with homeowners. Architects are not just there to design a floor plan and elevation. There is a lot more that goes into what the architect needs to be putting on your plans. And if you are selecting an architect who does not have any awareness or knowledge around higher performing structures, maybe passive home building, going above and beyond building code, or you're considering hiring a draftsman, there can be some issues in hiring an architect that does not have the skill set or knowledge around designing the type of home that you're expecting. So very important architectural interview stage is what we call it in vetting the architect that's ultimately going to be responsible for designing the home and telling the builder what's going to be built. So step 2 is your design stage. And you and your architect, once you feel like you're a great fit, you'll go through some like programming, which is square footage and bedroom and bathroom count, and so that the architect knows what you want out of the design. Then they'll get started. This is often typically when we're brought into the team as well, because we'll strategize with that architect on how the home is going to be watertight. What are the water intrusion mitigation strategies, and how is the home going to exceed just standard building code requirements? So during the designing stage, this is where you'll go through your floor plans, your elevations, you'll get ready for submitting for permits, and then the plans continue. So you don't stop just after permits, you'll continue to work with the architect to build out a full construction document set that the builder is going to use as part of their contract and what they're going to be building off of. So stage 2 is your design stage with your architect. Okay, then stage 3 is going to be your bidding stage. This is where you are ideally sending out what the architect has compiled and sending it out to multiple builders. Now, when you have your architect really dial in all the details of your project, when you send it out to different contractors, you should be getting an apples to apples to apples to apples bid, and everything should come back bidding all of the same work, meaning your architectural plans show what the exterior layers are of your wall and your roof and basement walls, and so that the contractor knows what they are bidding. And I often will say that contractors should be there to implement, not really to strategize, because we want that strategy clearly called out in your plans. So the architect is there to strategize and get it on paper. The builder is there to implement and just go to town, build what's on the plans that has already been vetted by the architect and approved by the client. So stage 3 is going to be bidding, getting an understanding of budget and fit for a contractor. This is also when you'll go through a contractor interview stage, making sure that your contractor is a good fit for your project. Hiring a contractor is like a short-term marriage. It is a very intimate thing to be building the home that your family is going to be raised in. You better dang make sure that you and that contractor are a good fit. So oftentimes we'll find even the question around, hey, contractor, what do you do when it comes to lumberyard mold? Is that something that you sort and select? Is that something that you try to cover the material so it's not affected by water damage? And you might get a response from contractor A who says that's, horse crap, you don't need that. Lumberyard mold is not a big deal. You might get that response, where contractor B might say, we've gone through this before. We're really diligent about sorting material and making sure that the lumber that gets installed is clean and free of visible mold. Two very different responses, and that might be telling in which contractor you might want to select there. But it's a very important stage. So stage 3 is going to be about bidding and selecting your contractor and basically getting queued up for construction. Okay, and then step 4 is when construction begins. This is when you are going to be breaking ground, and there should not be any more questions like, what type of insulation would you like in your home? What type of flooring would you like? That's all been fleshed out through the design stage with the architect, interior designers, X, Y, and Z. So stage 4, you are beginning construction. And this is when the momentum happens. Something you want to very clearly understand if you are wanting to avoid water damage is, when is construction going to begin and when are you going to be dried in? Meaning, when construction begins, don't stop. You do not stop during framing and let the home sit for 3 or 4 months while rain is happening on the framing and the sheathing. No way. You start construction and you get to the dried in stage. That is like, you want to hit that milestone. The dried in stage is when basically the interior is protected from the outdoor elements. You have your framing up, you have your windows installed and flashed, you have your roof on with the underlayment, and that basically if a rain comes through, you're not going to end up with puddles on the interior. So you want to get to that goalpost. That's typically for most builds somewhere around 4 months or so, maybe 3 to 5 months before you're dried in. So discuss that with your builder before construction begins. Because if your contractor says, well, we're going to start construction and then we're going to start framing, and then I'm going to need to pause for 3 months because I have this other project I'm finishing up, and then we'll pick your project back up. You need to know that. So that's stage 4. Big milestone, construction begins. Stage 5 is when everything starts to happen, in that you have electrical, you have plumbing, you have mechanical, you have all of these trades coming in. And stage 5, that is when all of the eyeballs should be on your project. You have your contractor, your architect should be out there doing site visits. You have subcontractors on site. You most definitely want third-party observations. That is something huge that we facilitate for the projects that we are consulting on, because construction needs third-party oversight. That city inspector is not there to look for any water damage or leak test windows. It is just not going to happen. So the quality control needs to be happening, no later than stage 5, because when you have drywall installed, that's it. You're done. That's where the important stuff has already happened. Once drywall goes up, that's the pretty stuff. That's, you get paint and finishes and cabinetry and everything is going on, doors and hardware. That's the pretty stuff. Yes, we still need oversight during that stage too, but the big important decisions, any visible mold or leaks at windows, or anything that's going to really contribute to avoiding water damage, that's going to happen during that pre-drywall stage. Stage 6, that is it. You are done. You are moving in, but you're not done yet. You get to exhale a bit, but stage 6, the contractor's not done, because you have a warranty. Contractor's probably giving you a 1-year or 2-year warranty. Do not let your foot off the gas. This is where the fine-tuning happens. You may need to have some fine-tuning adjustments on your mechanical system if you find that, oh shoot, once we moved in and we have 5 kids and we're showering and we're bathing and we're cooking, our humidity is very high. You need to be monitoring that and making sure that all the fine-tuning is happening, which I call stage 6, is like the first 12 months after you move in. That contractor needs to be coming back to be doing warranty work. One way you can get them to come back to do warranty work is a warranty inspection. So if you have a 12-month warranty, we would encourage an 11-month home inspection. So month 11 or sooner, have a home inspection and say, hey, I want to check the warranty work. Does the contractor need to come back here for any reason to cover any of the warranty items? That's typically in the first 12 months after you move in and project is complete. Use your warranty. It is not to say that the home is falling apart after 12 months. It's to say that, hey, something might be going on in the attic that you're not even aware of that should be corrected. Or, oh, oops, a piece of flashing was missed over here. Or the exhaust fan for the bathroom that's supposed to be venting outside it got disconnected, and now that exhaust fan is venting into your attic. You don't want to discover that 5 years after the fact. Use your warranty. It is there for a reason. And when you are living in your home, especially in that first year, you want to be like Inspector Gadget and just looking for what might need correction and get it fixed, because it's going to be a whole lot harder to get that contractor back in year 3, 4, or 5. So use your warranty. So 6 stages of construction that you can be aware of for your project. Stage 1 is going to be lot selection. Stage 2 is when you're working with your architect. Stage 3 is going to be when you are working with your potential contractor. Stage 4, you're starting construction. Stage 5 is when you are finishing up, and stage 6 is when you are finally moving in and doing warranty work. So this was one of our shorter episodes getting through those 6 items. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next episode.